Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1 for the News First, the voice of the people. I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon.
Discussions on the new prices of gas, milk powder, wheat flour and cement today. If prices are unfair, controlled prices will be imposed. A statement from the Minister of Consumer Protection. 5 people killed in a fire that erupted at a house in Ragala, Nuwara. Medical trade unions step down from duties today. When will the salary anomalies of teachers be resolved?
Now those stories in detail. Commander of Sri Lanka Army General Shavendra Silva announced students between the ages of 18 to 19 will obtain the Pfizer vaccine from their respective schools from the 21st of this month. The commander also said that those who had already left school but are in the age group can obtain the vaccine via the local medical officer for health. Now over to some tragic news that was reported this morning. 5 people of the same family lost their lives in a fire that erupted inside their residence in Ragala estate in Ragala.
Following the blaze that engulfed the household, the Newsfirst team that visited Ragala was only able to find this pup outside the now demolished household. The youngest son of the family, Mohan, celebrated his birthday inside the residence last night. The neighbors have seen the flames bursting out from the house at about 10 last night. However, their efforts to douse the fire were not successful. The young Mohan, who celebrated his very first birthday, his 11-year-old brother, their mother and her parents lost their lives in the fire. It is reported that the father of the deceased child has been living separately and that he was not at home at the time of this tragedy. The cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained and police investigations are underway regarding the incident.
The residents have gone to sleep after celebrating their youngest child's birthday. Information has surfaced that the fire has erupted later last night while everyone was asleep. Officers of the Police Crimes Division inspected the location today. Facts have been presented to Alapane Magistrate. Extensive investigations are being carried out by the Ragala Police to ascertain the cause of the fire. The preparation of digital vaccination cards for people who have been fully vaccinated is complete. Secretary to the State Ministry of Digital Technology and Entrepreneur Development, Jayantha De Silva, said that a mechanism to issue these vaccination cards is being prepared. He added that the digital vaccination cards have already been issued for fully vaccinated individuals who are expecting to travel overseas. The Secretary said that the digital cards will be designed based on the recommendations of the World Health Organization. The digital vaccination cards have been designed in a manner that does not allow for fraudulent duplication. Jayantha De Silva added that a QR code has also been included in the digital vaccination card. Meanwhile, the Joint Health Workers Union staged a trade union action citing several demands today.
The convener of the Joint Health Trade Union, Saman Ratnapriya, said the trade union action was staged between 7 to 12 noon with the participation of 44 health trade unions. Saman Ratnapriya said the trade union action is not being carried out at the COVID treatment centres, at the Children's Hospital and at the cancer hospitals. The COVID benefit for health workers has been discontinued by the government. Also, they have not lifted the restrictions on overtime allowances. The workers are being paid for only 40 to 60 hours when they work 200 to 300 hours in total. This is a major cut. Also, they don't provide the required facilities to control COVID-19. N95 masks have not been provided. Also, there is a major staff shortage. They have not provided an answer when proposed that health services should be made an inclusive service. Also, 14 health workers were victims to the virus. Have been taken to provide compensation or at least their salaries without interruption. The trade union action was launched citing these issues. Meanwhile, Newsfirst looked into the situation at hospitals across the island. Our correspondent noted, however, other services operated as usual.
At a time like this, we don't have to provide special guidelines to health workers on how they should act. They clearly know what they had to go through for this at the hospitals and treatment centers. Against such a backdrop, if someone is attempting to pave the way for the virus to spread further by hampering the services, the health sector will have to face consequences. We believe the health sector in the country will act with responsibility. We respect your cause, but we hope you will not do it in a way the virus will spread further. Now, the lives of farmers have already gone from bad to worse as a result of the shortage in fertilizer, pesticides and weedicides.
Farmers in Uyanwatta, Kundasale have been severely affected as they have not received the required fertilizer and pesticides on time. Although the harvests of cabbage, snake gourd and corn cultivations of these farmers should be reaped by now, the lack of urea fertilizer has resulted in the destruction of their cultivations. During these 45 days, we have to reap the harvest, but we cannot get any harvest. If we want to get good harvest, we need fertilizer. We used to use organic fertilizer to sow in the past, but when we use organic fertilizer on these lands, we do not get the proper harvest. We are planning on abandoning our fields. As you can see, these weeds are now growing. Even if we spray weedicides, we need urea for the paddy. We need to feed our children as well. The ministers speak about these matters, but they must try doing it first. They can plant it in their pots, but we cannot do things like that here. Chaina cultivations is the main mode of income of the residents of Namalloya 8B and 9B villages. Although these farmers have already prepared about 2,000 acres of land for their cultivations, they have not sowed seeds as they are yet to receive stocks of fertilizer. All of these farmers have been left helpless due to the actions of this government. Fertilizer was available to be purchased for money in the past, but now farmers have fallen from the frying pan to the fire. Farmers have nothing to eat. We plant corn only once a year. Farmers have no agrochemicals or fertilizers to carry out their cultivations. Green gram farmers in Rajangane have been severely inconvenienced owing to the unavailability of agrochemicals. Farmers in Rajangane have harvested around 3,000 acres of green gram this season. They point out their crops are at the brink of destruction as agrochemicals were not used on the harvest properly. Farmers allege that as of today, their revenue has declined by 50%.
Now, State Minister Lasantha Alagewanna announced that price revisions on multiple items including cement, LP gas, milk powder and wheat flour will be made this evening. State Minister of Consumer Protection Lasantha Alagewanna says the government cannot determine the prices of gas, milk powder, wheat flour and cement under the current legal framework after the control prices of these items were lifted. He said that, however, authorities have been advised to ensure traders do not sell goods at exorbitant prices in the absence of a control price. He assured that the government will make the necessary intervention if unfair prices are imposed on products, inconveniencing the general public.
පිටි, කිරිපිටි, සිමෙන්ති, gas සම්බන්ධව පනවන තිබුණු පාලන මිල.
The President and the Minister had decided to remove the control prices imposed on flour, milk powder, cement and gas. But although control prices have been removed, the respective companies, when releasing the goods to the market, should price them at a reasonable amount considering their profits. And if any organization makes attempts to gain unreasonable profits, the Consumer Affairs Authority will again impose control prices. We had made that decision based on this condition. One might question the need for a government if prices are increased in Sri Lanka when the world prices increase. The question is applicable today. However, over the past 1.5 to 2 years, the government took measures to ensure the burden of the price increase in the world market was not transferred to the consumers of this country. We will complete the discussions with all companies selling flour, milk powder, cement and gas by this evening. We are expecting to have a productive discussion with these companies so that we can come to a conclusion where the people of this country are not burdened as much.
ඒ මිල වැඩි කිරීමේ සාකච්ඡා ටික අපි අද පවත්වලා ඒ සම්බන්ධව අවශ්‍ය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගැනීමට අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කටයුතු කරමු.
Shifting your attention to international news, according to UK government, the number of countries on the UK COVID-19 travel red list will be cut from 54 to 7.
South Africa, Brazil and Mexico come off the red list, which requires travellers to quarantine in an approved hotel at their cost of 10 full days. Transport Secretary Grant Shapps on Twitter said that the changes begin next Monday and mark the next step in opening travel. The latest move will be seen as a boost to the airline industry and families separated during the pandemic. Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, Ecuador and Haiti and the Dominican Republic will still remain on the red list. Pandemic travel rules in the UK have recently been simplified with the amber list cut and advice against holidays changed for 32 countries. But the consumer group warns the changes only reflect requirements for arriving back in the UK. The group said that travellers should be aware that they may still face restrictions on entry to many destinations, especially those under 18 who have not been vaccinated.
More than a dozen US sailors have been injured after a nuclear submarine hit an unknown object while submerged in waters around the South China Sea.
US officials said 15 sailors had minor injuries when the USS Connecticut collided with the object. They added that it was unclear what had caused the collision. The incident comes as tension mounts in the highly disputed region over the recent uptick of Chinese incursions into Taiwan's air defense zone. US Navy spokesperson said the submarine is now headed towards the US territory of Guam. A US Navy spokesperson said in a statement that USS Connecticut's nuclear propulsion plant and spaces have not been affected and remain fully operational, adding that the extent of damage to the submarine still is being assessed.
Some news from the Parliament. Minister of Education Dinesh Gunawardena said in Parliament today that the government is ready to hold discussions with the teachers and principals trade unions on the proposals made to solve their salary anomalies. The Minister of Education made this statement responding to a question raised by the leader of the JVP, Anura Kumara Disanayaka.
We will support you in your endeavour to reopen schools. However, the operations at schools will be hampered if this teacher's principal issue is not resolved. Otherwise, opening schools will not be successful. Do you accept that there is a salary anomaly issue that has been there since the 1990s? It has been 13 years since the Supreme Court had given its verdict. But why aren't steps being taken to implement that order? The Prime Minister back then, when he was the President, presenting the budget in 2009, announced that money has been allocated to resolve the teacher's salary issue. All of us were happy about that decision. Why weren't steps taken to implement that? Have you taken any steps to provide solutions to the teachers and principals trade unions before the recommencement of schools?
මෙම වැටුප් විෂමතා ගැටලුව විසඳීම සඳහා ගුරු විදුහල්පති වෘත්තීය සමිති වලට පිළිගත හැකි විසඳුමක් ලබා දීමට කටයුතු කරන්නේද කියලා ගරු ඇමතුමාගේ දැනගන්න කැමැතියි. 2018 වර්ෂයේ අධ්‍යාපන
The Finance Ministry will present a practical solution to the salary anomaly issue of teachers and principals based on the salary scheme presented by the Ministry of Education to the National Salaries Commission in 2018. The proposal to establish a closed service for teachers and principals will also be made, and as it was agreed before, the decision to publish the Gazette on this matter on the 20th of the 11th month 2021 will be implemented. Steps will be taken to distribute the special 5,000 rupee allowance for teachers for the months of September and October, as instructed by the Secretary to the Treasury. As per the Cabinet decision, a special committee will resolve these issues in 6 months and make recommendations.
අමාත්‍ය මණ්ඩලය තීරණය කර පරිදි විශේෂ කමිටුවක් 6 මාසයක් ඇතුළත එම ප්‍රශ්න විසඳා නිර්දේශ කිරීමට තීරණය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා.
We will only know about this when the budget proposal is presented on the 21st of November. I feel that if you sit down with the trade unions and discuss the proposals and their ideas as well, this issue can be solved soon. If you can give us a date for the discussions, and if that is done, we believe that then teachers will return to their classes.
මට හිතනවා ඉතා ඉක්මනින් මේක අවසන් කරගන්න පුළුවන් වේවි. අපිට දිනයක් කියන්න පුළුවන් නම් මෙන්න මේ දිනේදී හෝ අපිට සාකච්ඡාව කරනවා කියලා. ඒතර මේක විසඳ ගන්න පුළුවන් වේවි. ඒතර ගුරුවරුන් සාමාන්‍ය පරිදි රාජකාරී වලට නිරත වේවි කියලා අපි හිතනවා.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි ගරු අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමාගෙන්
Honourable Speaker, based on the consent of the Prime Minister, we can allocate time for discussions with them. Do not ask too many questions about the secrets in the budget proposal. We cannot divulge them like that. That is the tradition. We will hold a discussion with the Prime Minister on this matter.
කියන්න බෑ අගමැතිතුමා එක්ක සාකච්ඡාවක් අපි කරමු මේ අනුව පාසල් විත්ත කරන්න සැලසුම්